Hi y'all. So if you clicked on this video, you already know that this is going to be like a little video about my journey with Sumatriptan, which is an abortive drug for migraine. And I do just want to preface this by saying I am not a medical doctor. I'm not a medical professional. I am just a real life unpaid person who has had a personal experience with this drug, and this is all about my personal journey. So, I first got on this drug probably about 5-ish years ago. That's when my headaches really started to become a problem with my everyday life, getting out of bed, doing everyday activities, being able to walk without holding on to things during certain migraine attacks, and so on and so forth. So to this date, we are August 2022, and like I said, I've been on this drug for roughly 5 years now. So when I first decided to get a neurologist was when I really started to get migraine attacks multiple times a week. So I suffer with chronic migraine, so without any preventative drugs and without any abortive pain medications for drugs. It's normal for me to have anywhere between 4 and 5 migraines a week. So now, Sumatriptan, like I had already said, is an abortive pain medication. So ideally, you're supposed to take it when you first feel like you have a migraine coming on, and not even necessarily that you feel the pain immediately, but there's several people that have migraine attacks that have different, different hints. I'm having a brain fart right now, but like different symptoms and stuff that will let them know that they're having a migraine attack. So either when you get certain symptoms that lead to your migraine attack, or you just start to feel like a twinge of pain in whatever spot it is in your head, that's when you want to take Sumatriptan. So that's what it's designed for. Again, I am not a medical professional. I am just giving you my real life experience with Sumatriptan. So when I first got on this, I was at a 50 milligram tablet. They come in the box that looks like this, like you can already had a little glimpse of it from the thumbnail. But they come in that little box, and when I originally started, I was at 50 milligrams, and they worked for a while. Like, Sumatriptan has always worked for me. It kind of just comes in waves within the way that it works. So the first couple years, it worked for me at 50 milligrams, and then after a couple years, I actually had to move up to 100 milligrams because what ended up happening was I would get a migraine attack, and then I would take the pill and deal with the symptoms. And then probably like a few hours later, every now and then, it would come back. So when I went to have a checkup with my neurologist, I explained the situation, and he told me that if it's working, it should be working all the time, and it shouldn't be 50-50, and you should have more than just a couple hours of relief. So then he bumped me up to the 100 milligram tablet, which is what I am still taking to this day. And the thing about Sumatriptan for me personally, as I said, I am not a medical doctor. My experience personally is that I can feel it work through my whole body, right? So a lot of times in the pharmaceutical, I guess you can say, life or whatever, any type of medication that you take, it's almost like, you know, you're kind of substituting symptoms in a way. It's like, oh yeah, take this for your big toe, but your thumb's gonna hurt, but just a little bit less than your big toe. You know what I mean? Just little goofy stuff like that here and there. You're kind of like exchanging symptoms in a way. So me personally, for Sumatriptan, that's how it works. So typically when I feel a migraine start to come on, I take it right away. And it works pretty quickly for me. Like, don't let this freak you out at all. But like I said, it's a case-by-case basis, and you will learn your body if your doctor decides to put you on this medication to help with your brain pain. So with me personally, what happens is I take it, and probably 10-15 minutes later, if even that, I start to kind of feel my body like get just real tight. Like I can feel it working through my body, because it is a blood vessel constricting medication. So like I said, everybody's experience is different with every drug. But for me, I can, and it's not even necessarily that like it hurts really bad, it's just weird. And I can feel like a lot of tension work through my body. I can feel it the most, which is kind of ironic, like in my shoulders and in my back and in my neck. It gets really, really tight. And actually, I feel it in my head last. It usually, like I said, like starts in my shoulders and my back, and will move up my neck. And then by the time it gets like behind my ears, it won't be as intense, but I can still feel it literally moving like all throughout my head and my neck and my shoulders and my back. And that sensation doesn't last very long, but for me personally, after I stop feeling it moving, the spots that I felt it moving and constricting are now like a little bit tender. So even for me, like sort of the touch, so I can, if I felt it be like constrictive in my shoulder, I'll touch my shoulder and it could hurt a little bit. But for that, for me personally, that goes away probably within like an hour or so. And the Sumatriptan, as far as taking away my migraine, usually works super fast. So like if I would take a Sumatriptan now, within 30 minutes, most of, if not all of my pain is completely gone in my head. And I just feel that constricting feeling, and I'm a little bit tender. So that's what I feel when I take the medication. And I know personally, you know, like it just depends on your lifestyle and what you got going on. But if I have the opportunity to take it and lay down, that is the best thing for me. That is the best thing for me. Like, it's a whole different ballpark when I can take it and go to sleep. Because that's another symptom that I have with my migraines personally, is I don't necessarily know the scientific or medical reason behind that, but while I'm fighting a migraine and after, I am so fatigued. Like, I get so tired. I would have thought that, you know, like I ran like a marathon or was like pulling weeds all day, or literally like any extreme thing that you can possibly think of. That's how tired I am when I'm fighting a migraine and after my migraine. So fatigue is another thing for me personally, with migraines in general, and it also adds to it because I'm taking Sumatriptan. So that is that aspect of it. And if you guys see me looking down, like I'm looking down right now, I just jotted some things down to remember to tell you guys. And when I first got on it, I didn't have an issue as far as my insurance approving it or whatever. And I'm talking to like a lot of different people. Sumatriptan is one of the ones that insurance doesn't usually fight too hard with. I know there are certain medications where, depending on your insurance company and stuff, they'll make you try things prior. They could probably say whatever the reasoning is, but you know, pretty much any doctor will definitely tell you that it's because it's cheaper. So even if you know for a fact based off of a sample that you had or so on and so forth, they'll still make you try something cheaper just because that's, you know, that's the world we live in. And I was also pregnant a few years ago, like halfway through my journey, and that was one of my biggest concerns immediately when I found out I was pregnant. I immediately stopped taking everything and waited for a response from my doctor. And again, I am not a doctor. I am not a medical professional. Just my experience is that I had spoken to a few different doctors of mine, and I was told absolutely do not take these medications while you're pregnant. So I listened to my doctor and their recommendations, and I did not take them at all while I was pregnant. And again, that is what I was told by my doctors. Also, I heard that there's no like real evidence or research to back up the fact that it is or is not safe during pregnancy. So because of that, a doctor would more than likely tell you to just completely steer clear of it. So I listened to my doctor, and I didn't take any medication at all, and none of my prescriptions when I was pregnant, as far as the ones that I was taking for my migraines. Now, earlier in the video, I had mentioned that I originally started out at 50 milligrams, and then it wasn't working the way it was supposed to work after a little while. So then he bumped me up to 100 milligrams, and he, as in my doctor, my neurologist. And in between that time, before he bumped me up to 100, he actually recommended and prescribed me the Sumatriptan. I think I'm saying that correctly, but if not, please do correct me in the comments, because I do think that it is Sumatriptan. But so I was on that. I don't remember the dosage of that one, but that literally did nothing. Nothing. 0% helpful for me. Which I was a little bit disappointed about. I mean, it's always a little bit disappointing when you try a new medication for whatever reason, and it's either just terrible for you or it just literally doesn't work at all. But it's always exciting when it does. But as far as the Sumatriptan, for my personal migraine journey, it did nothing at all. I actually kind of feel like it even made them a little bit worse. So I got off of that as quickly as I could. I don't even think that I even took it for like a month, because I just couldn't do it. It was making my migraines way worse. Okay, so I needed to add this clip in to say that I forgot two things. So one of them being that I am very sensitive to water as far as touching my skin after I take Sumatriptan, and it's pretty much almost effective immediately. Like, I'll take Sumatriptan, and then probably like 10 minutes afterwards, anytime water touches my skin, it like hurts. And it's so weird. I swear to you, like, it's not a conspiracy theory. Like, and it's way worse, like, obviously, like, the warmer the water is. So naturally, the way that I am, I love a good hot shower, like really hot. But when I'm like washing my hands or my face or taking a shower or whatever, after I take Sumatriptan, my skin is so sensitive to water being on my skin. And it could be like cool water, warm water, hot water, like they're all like they all make me feel weird, but it's like more severe with the temperature. So I definitely use cool water to wash my hands and my face and my body and everything after I take Sumatriptan. And if I'm being honest with you, like, that is the #1 symptom that lasts the longest within the same day that I take Sumatriptan. So even if I have a migraine as soon as I wake up in the morning, and so it's like 7 o'clock in the morning, and I wake up and get something to eat quick to put on my stomach to take the Sumatriptan, that will literally be a side effect for my skin for the entire day. So if I take my Sumatriptan at 7 o'clock in the morning and then take a shower at 10 o'clock at night, my skin is still sensitive to water for like literally the rest of the day, and then it won't go back to normal until like the next day. So that's something to keep in mind too, which again, like, you may not even experience that. And then again, don't let it scare you. Like, you learn your body and you learn the side effects that it gives you. So it might be like a tiny little bit scary at first in the beginning when you start taking it, if you do. But just remember that. So like if you're taking a warm shower and you're like, oh my gosh, like why does this like hurt? Like it's not even hot. Just know like that's probably why, because I'm telling you, literally every single time I put water on my skin, even if I'm just washing with cold water, it still hurts like a tiny bit. But so all of that to lead us to another thing that I forgot to mention as well would be, I definitely get what you would call a migraine hangover. And I get those even without taking Sumatriptan. They're just a lot more worse when I do take Sumatriptan. So what that means to me is that I get crazy brain fog when I'm recovering from a migraine. So crazy brain fog, super tired, like my muscles feel weak. And I just kind of feel like weird and like out of it. Still functionable, like I can still function and be a human being. It's just like a little bit uncomfortable. And that will last like the rest of the day when I have a migraine. So it's like kind of sad, but I get like excited, I guess you can say, when I start to get a migraine right before I'm about to go to bed, because I'm like, oh, like I could just take medicine and go to bed, and when I wake up I'll be fine. So like I feel like I would probably speak for the vast majority of people who are migraine sufferers. It's like you would obviously rather have a migraine attack before bed versus first thing when you wake up in the morning. I mean, ideally nobody wants them at all ever, but personally, like I get excited when I get them right when I'm about to go to bed, because it's like, well, just take my Sumatriptan and I sleep it off, and in the morning it's a brand new day. So those are the two things: water sensitivity regardless of the temperature, and a migraine hangover is definitely two major things that need to be in this video. And once again, I am not a medical doctor, and I'm not saying that this will definitely happen. It's just my personal experience. So that's what I needed to add for that. So, you know, as I said, this is my personal journey with Sumatriptan, and I would advise you to definitely talk to your doctor. Talk to your doctor. Make sure you find a doctor that you feel confident in, that you vibe with, that they listen to you. It is so, so important, y'all, to advocate for yourself, okay? Nobody is going to advocate for you, and nobody knows your body like you know your body. So if you're dealing with a doctor that just seems like they're just like brushing you off, kind of giving you the vibe like, oh, well, you don't know what you're talking about because you're not a doctor, or da-da-da-da-da, I just please advise you to just do not give up on your doctor search. Like, it is okay to jump around to doctors. There are so many different doctors, and obviously you're gonna find some that are like way more passionate and understanding than a lot of the other ones who might be like down here, because you know, such is life in a lot of different situations and careers. A lot of people are in it for the money, you know, and not only that, it could be whatever other reasons. It could be like an endless amount of reasons, but please do not feel afraid to stand up for yourself. And even if you want to completely just avoid that conversation with them, you don't even have to talk to a doctor that you end up not liking. You could see them one time and be like, like she's not doing it, or he's not doing it, or they're not doing it. It doesn't matter. You just move on to the next one, to the next, to the next, because I promise you, you will eventually find someone who advocates for you like you do yourself, and who is passionate about their career, and they will genuinely listen to you, y'all. You can tell when your doctor is in it for the right reasons and wants what is best for you, and not just shoving stuff in your face because of whatever reason. I promise you that as long as you keep trying, you will find someone who you adore, okay? And all of that to kind of say that I would also recommend, because of personal experience, once again, I am not a doctor, just this is all my personal experience. I know this is probably getting annoying at this point to hear that, but I really have to just really focus on that. So all that to say that I would definitely suggest looking for a neurologist if you suffer with chronic migraine or just regular migraine. If you are a migraine sufferer, period, I would definitely recommend that you do your search for a neurologist, because that is their specialty. And if you have a family doctor, they will definitely help you out as far as recommendations or, you know, different places or whatever the case may be. But that is my journey with Sumatriptan, and to date I am still using it. And then another thing that I did forget to mention as well, if I remember correctly, the people in the pharmacy, as far as like the pharmacist and the techs, and then my doctor as well, I believe they said it is like an FDA controlled drug as far as them controlling the amount of pills that you can get, because I know I've never been able to get more than 9 in a month. So like, if you think about it, that's not very many for someone who suffers with chronic migraine. So, you know, that would be like a whole nother discussion to have. But this is my personal journey with Sumatriptan, and I am so grateful that I was able to find this medication that helped me as quick as I was able to find it, because I know there are plenty of people who go through tons of different medications for different reasons and they still haven't been able to find something. And I had lucked out as far as the pain management aspect to abort my migraines once they have already hit me. And so that has been a awesome blessing for me personally. And I really do advocate for you guys as well by saying that please do go on your search to find a doctor and a medication that can help you on your journey. And thank you guys so much for tuning in to this video and listening to me talk about my Sumatriptan journey. And just remember, whoever you are and wherever you are, please remember to be kind. Bye.